and welcome to GGSP. I'm Will, and coming up on the show, we have a boy that is a sack and bugs that are snacks, and that is a fact. We'll be platforming our way through the colourful and creative worlds of Sackboy: A Big Adventure. And we go hunting for delicious bugs in Bugsnax. That game really takes the whole "you are what you eat" saying a little bit too literally. I mean, if that were true, I'd be a carrot by now. And that's just not true. Ah, I'm just kidding. I'm not a carrot. That would be crazy. Ah!
It's been quite a while since we've seen Sackboy in Little Big Planet 3. 6 whole years, in fact. But now the sack is back, baby, in Sackboy: A Big Adventure. We find the Sack folk having a lovely day, while Sackboy is casually flexing his creativity by painting 2 paintings at once, when all of a sudden a giant villain tears open the sky and ruins everything.
Oh, I do love a warm welcome. That look of pure terror.
This no-good jester is named Vex, and he sucks, literally. I mean literally. He sucks everyone in town away with a giant vacuum cleaner. But after a narrow escape, it's left to us to stop his villainous plans. Now, I should mention that it's probably for very good reason that they didn't call this Little Big Planet 4. Even though it has that charming, crafty British style that we know and love from the Little Big Planet series, this is a very different outing for Sackboy. Where the Little Big Planet games were a make-your-own-game set of tools with a lovely fleshed-out platformer on top, this is just a straight-up platformer. So you won't be making your own levels or games here. But while it may have lost that dimension, it has gained an entire half dimension. That's right, Sackboy is no longer stuck in 2.5D. This is a fully 3D platformer, and it's one that puts Sackboy up there with the best of them. Like a lot of 3D platformers, you've got a bunch of different worlds full of levels, all connected by a lovely little interactive map. Each level is full of dream orbs that you need to collect in order to unlock a bridge to the next area. The overworld has some nice extras too, including some secret levels, Zoom Zoom's clothes shop full of adorable outfits to collect, mini games, and a little time trial mode. Now, 3D platformers live and die by how they feel to play, and Sackboy has always been a slightly floaty character in previous games. And while he can literally float here, he's a joy to control. Attacks are snappy, and thanks to a dive roll move that you can pull off mid-air, you can quickly change directions or make up some extra distance in a pinch. It's also just satisfying to roll around levels. All of that is combined with the ability to grab objects and the occasional fun extra tool, like a grappling hook, to create some great level design and platforming moments. At times, this did feel like they'd raided the craft drawer of other platformers' ideas, though. The way he does his little floaty move is just like Yoshi. There are musical levels, like in Rayman. There's a chase scene, like in Crash. You jump and whack things like most of them do. Look, what I'm saying is that nothing is original anymore, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that it's done with such style and joy that it's impossible not to crack a smile while you play. And the world is full of a great cast of delightfully silly characters. Levels are bursting with creative touches and regularly throw a little something into the mix, so I always wanted to keep playing. And those musical levels I mentioned had me dancing in my seat while I played them.
Oh, baby, just watch.
The way it synchronizes music and gameplay is mwah, and overall the soundtrack slaps. The whole world looks amazing too. The lighting and reflections regularly caught my eye. But I think it's the materials that really sell it. Everything from fabric to brick are spot on. I mean, look at these fibers on Sackboy. What cute juice. And I love how all those things are often put into such silly creative worlds, but often in a way that leaves you realizing, oh wait, I'm just in someone's garden. Now, I have gone on record saying I'm not the best at platformers, but this was just the right level of challenge for me. There's not a ton of super precise jumping you'll need to do until the later stages, and his float and dive move give you plenty of tools to stay out of trouble. You get a fairly generous 4 lives per level, and Sackboy takes 2 hits before going down. Plus, it regularly throws extra lives at you, so I never even ended up losing them all. If you do need extra help though, you can toggle on infinite lives. So no matter your skill level, you'll still be able to push through. The main challenge will simply come from trying to collect everything. Dreamer orbs are often well hidden, and when you die, you lose about 1/10 of your score, which at the end of a level adds up to reward you with a piece of clothing if you can get a gold medal. Just a few deaths can easily knock your score down to silver. I personally don't care about collecting everything, but for those who do, you'll have plenty left to find after your first run through. There is also 4-player multiplayer, and even some specially designed multiplayer-only levels. But actually, we couldn't test it out because online multiplayer isn't coming until later in the year, and we only had one PS5 controller. Overall, Sackboy: A Big Adventure is a truly feel-great game. It looks, sounds, and plays wonderfully. It might not be doing anything we haven't seen before, but it does it all in a way that is absolutely worth seeing. I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Soaring high in the sky, he may be small but only in size. Darren, he is brave and gentle and wise. No, I've never been classically trained. Not even one singing lesson. You just don't need lessons with my raw musical talent. Oh, hello, and welcome to The Scoop! Let's see what's been happening in the world of gaming, shall we? First up, Xbox's cloud gaming service, Project xCloud, has released a beta in Australia for Android mobile devices. xCloud, which is already live in some parts of the world, enables players to play selected games in their Microsoft library on other devices via the cloud. But there has been some trepidation about how the service might run in Australia, given our, let's say, questionable internet performance. Players who register for the beta must have a Microsoft account, a compatible Android device, and the Xbox Game Streaming Preview app. This testing phase is designed to gain insight into the Australian cloud streaming experience, ahead of an anticipated 2021 launch. This next bit of news comes from the world of Roblox. Players familiar with the famous Roblox OOF sound effect will soon need to purchase it as a paid add-on if they want to continue to hear it in-game. Used to signal a game over within the world of Roblox, the OOF sound was created by sound designer and now CEO of Intellivision, Tommy Tallarico, who has reached a copyright deal with Roblox to make the sound available for purchase. There is a new default game over sound replacing OOF, due to drop by the end of the month. On to some more news now, and cross-platform multiplayer support has arrived for Minecraft Dungeons. Intrepid dungeon explorers can now team up across PC, Xbox, Switch, and PS4 for some co-op adventuring. But be aware that cross-play save files and game progress won't necessarily transfer across different platforms. And that brings us to this week's Extra Scoop! A clever fan creator known as Minifig in Disguise has created an Among Us themed Lego set. From the cafeteria to the reactor, the build includes 5 rooms from the scaled map. The images were shared through the Lego Ideas community, where Lego fans often post their creations, with some even in with a chance to become actual Lego sets. And that's all we have time to scoop this week. Catch you next time. Now, back to the topic of my many talents. I'm actually considered a triple threat, you know? A quadruple if you count the new blazering.
When I was a kid, my mother expressly told me in no uncertain terms, Jem, don't eat bugs. We have plenty of food in the fridge. No, Jem, put it down. What did I just say? Why are you like this? And that's the foundation I've lived my entire life around. Do not eat bugs. Unless they look like the bugs in Bugsnax, in which case, save me some.
Popsicle!
Darling, calm yourself.
Let's see how they like flying into my mouth. No.
The world of Bugsnax is one of mystery, adventure, and creatures that, if the game wasn't so colourful, could have easily come straight from my nightmares. I'm, of course, talking about the half-bug, half-snack Bugsnax that populate the island of Snacktooth, which is where you, an intrepid reporter, were sent to locate the wilderness explorer and perfecter of a totally authentic Australian accent, Elizabeth Megafig.
What draws us so far away from civilization? What discovery could tempt us to start a new life in the untamed wild? Bugsnax!
I straight up refuse to believe that's what we sound like. On your quest to uncover the truth behind her disappearance, you'll also be playing personal errand runner and therapist to the villagers of Snacksburg, who have all since parted ways since Elizabeth's departure. Each of them holds a piece to the puzzle, and as you interview each one, you get a little snapshot both into their lives and what their relationship with Elizabeth was like. To convince them to come back to town, however, you'll need to fulfill their requests, which are usually Bugsnax related, be it catching them, training them, or serving them up on a silver platter to be consumed. That's right, Bugsnax is willing to do what no other bug/plant collecting game will, admit we're eating them. But these tasty morsels will not go quietly, which is where your arsenal of tools and traps comes in handy. Your main trap can be armed and activated when your target gets close to it. A slingshot filled with saucers can attract your prey. Or a sticky tripwire can be strung up to catch a distant foe and stop them in their tracks. Those are just some of my personal favourites, but you'll get good use out of the lot as you try and work out which one best suits your particular target's pattern of behaviour. For instance, what works on a flying pizza the size of a small car isn't going to work on a four-legged frozen popsicle with anger management issues. Despite their sometimes terrifying nature, it's really cool to see how different each individual Bugsnax looks and feels depending on where they live on the island, which does help to break up some of the repetitiveness of trekking back and forth between the town and whatever quest you're sent on. But I wouldn't say it alleviates it entirely, for me at least. This is basically a collectathon, and there's only so many times I can be asked to go get X amount of insectified food items before I start feeling the drag. Mechanically, it all works really well, and I did enjoy the initial nuttiness of hunting down a continental breakfast on legs.
Nothing like a campfire, eh, buddies?
I also really liked the little breather sections between quests that were just the characters interacting with each other. There's some heartfelt writing here, and I really did find myself getting invested in their stories.
You were there when the world was laughing at me.
Oh, and if you feed the townsfolk enough Bugsnax, you can turn them into some truly horrific food mutants, as Rad so gleefully showed us in her last livestream.
I got some goods for you. I got a Strabby, and that's gonna be your right leg.
Haunting. But outside of those shenanigans, the actual gameplay itself just didn't quite click with me, and I wasn't inclined to keep pushing forward to get to the bits I actually did get a kick out of. At the end of the day, I think this just comes down to me and Bugsnax not gelling together, rather than there being something I can point to and say, this isn't working and that's why I don't like it. We just don't vibe together, and that's fine. It's unapologetically kooky, full of personality, and if you can stick it out, there's some real emotional depth to its characters. But it's just not the game for me. So I'm giving Bugsnax 2.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
For some reason I have a really good feeling about this week's Ask SP. Must be my GGSP host hunch. It's kind of like a spidey sense. So let's get the good times rolling with this video from Felix and Rufus.
Hi GGSP, I'm Felix and this is Rufus, and we'd like to give Will a noob accusation
for calling the Minecraft Dungeons Jungle Awakens DLC an update.
Thank you for accepting our noob accusation against Will, and we hope that he has to drink from the noob cup. Felix and Rufus, out.
No, a noob accusation. Maybe we can just move past this one and not tell Darren about it. Hello?
Well, Will. I see we have a noob accusation. No need to say anything. Let's just roll the tape.
Now, as for the question of whether Minecraft Dungeons will be receiving any updates, well, yes. In fact, the first update, Jungle Awakens, arrived not long ago. That's fine, isn't it?
I wouldn't be so sure, Will. The Jungle Awakens DLC is a paid content pack or expansion, is it not? Not an update, strictly speaking. An update usually implies something that is freely available for all existing owners of the game.
But the official Minecraft page referred to the Jungle Awakens DLC as an update. At least once. And Jungle Awakens also brought some free updates to the base game, like the lower temple map. And isn't DLC just a kind of update? It surely updates the game with new features. Sort of like how a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle isn't always a square. Right? And besides, the Noob Cup is so far away, and I'm pretty sure the Noob Cup juice does not travel well.
Oh, don't you worry about that, Will. Behold! Darren's patented Noob Cup! Cake! It's my brilliant new culinary concept for noob justice. And I've already arranged delivery to your door! Go on, just a tiny taste, and we'll forget all about this DLC debacle.
All right, well, I better let you go before I tuck into this.
I'll be watching.
All right, well, here it goes. Oh, is that mustard custard in the center? Oh, no. Let's roll on with the next video. This one comes to us from Gibson. Why?
Hi GGSP, I have 2 questions for you today. 1, is Need for Speed coming out on PlayStation? And 2, what is the top 3 recommended LEGO games in your opinion? Thanks.
Thanks, Gibson. In answer to your first question, well, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered just came out and is available on the PlayStation 4. In fact, you can check out my thoughts about it through our online channels this week. And Gem live streamed it recently as well. Aside from that, there's also Need for Speed Rivals. It mixes an open world racer style with the cops versus racer car chases of the series. Well, as for the top 3 LEGO games in my opinion, well, I'm gonna go with LEGO Indiana Jones The Original Adventures. Maybe LEGO Marvel's Avengers and LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. I wonder if the upcoming LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga will bump one of these out of a coveted place in my top 3. Time will tell, I suppose, and maybe will tell. Although, we'll have to wait until next year to play that now. But that is okay, because a good Jedi knows the value of patience. But I think we have time for one more video, and this one is from Emmeline.
Hi GGSP, my name is Emmeline. And I've got 2 questions for you. How do you tame animals in Minecraft? And are there any LEGO Star Wars games on the iPad? And Darren, do these. Bye!
Thanks, Emmeline, and I guess I better get Darren back on the line for those emoticons.
Greetings, this is Darren.
Hey, Darren, it's Will again. I've just got some emoticons for you to do.
Oh, goody. Tired. A fool for love. So sad. Cheeky. Oh, how are you feeling after that noob cupcake, Will?
Well, I could be better. I mean, that aftertaste sure is something.
Affirmative. Goodbye.
Right, well, on to your question about how to tame animals in Minecraft. Well, that all depends on which animal you're looking to tame, as not all animals are tameable. But of those that are, wolves can be tamed by feeding them bones until hearts appear. Similarly, cats and ocelots can be tamed by feeding them raw salmon or cod. You can tame parrots by feeding them seeds. Horses, donkeys, llamas, and mules can be tamed through repeated attempts to ride them. Again, you'll know you've tamed them when you see those hearts. And if you saddle up your tamed horse, mule, or donkey, you can control them while riding. Plus, I hear that the new axolotls coming to the game can be tamed if you catch them in a bucket. Some other animals, like sheep, pigs, and chickens, for example, will follow you if you're holding certain foods. And some will breed if you feed two of them their preferred food in close proximity. But they're not really tameable in the same way that wolves and cats and things are, where they become more like pets and sometimes can even assist you in combat. To your other question, yes, there are indeed some LEGO Star Wars games for iPad. LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, which I mentioned before, and LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens are the best of the bunch in my opinion. Though they are split into episodes, with the first ep of each being free to play. But after the first freebie ep, you'll then need to decide if you want to pay for the rest. And now, I think I better go find something to wash away the foul taste of the noob cupcake. If you have a question for us, go here to send it in, and if it's a video we use on the show, you might just score yourself some GGSP loot. I don't get it. How could my GGSP host hunch been so wrong? Maybe it needs a recalibration.
Well, that's all the time we have for today, but if you check out the ABC Me app, you can catch a super extra snack-sized serving of GGSP that we made special just for you. This week, we're speeding through the streets and keeping the peace in Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. It's such a good game. And make sure to come back next week for another full episode of Gaming Goodness, where we'll be busting a move and getting into the groove with Just Dance 2021. And we'll find out if two heads are truly better than one, even if they're both on the same dog, in the adorably silly Fogs. But until then, as always, may all your games be good ones. Gem out.
Rad out.
Will out.